everybody. Today we're going to be making an executive pen kit from Penn State Industries. We wanted to do this video because there's a bunch of different videos on YouTube on how to make pens, but very few are done on Shopsmith. I'll show you how I go through and make these pens, which you can sell, give as gifts, whatever you want to do with them. These are my own personal opinions. Everybody might have a different way of doing things. This is how I do it. So sit back and enjoy.
All right, so the pen kits, they come in little kits like this. Comes with the instructions, comes with everything needed. These instructions, they're your lifesaver. Once you start doing more of these, you probably won't need the instructions anymore, but they do include everything that you need. Steps and a guide on how you should turn the actual product, and then assembly instructions are on the back. So then you have your pen refill, your pen tube, your pen tip, your clip. This is your spring. Don't lose this guy. This is the actual pen mechanism, and then your pen cap. So now the next part is to choose wood. I'm going to be doing 4 pens right now at the same time. I'm only going to be showing one, but the wood that I'm choosing, a bunch of leftover stock that I have. This is African blackwood, zebra wood, yellow heart, and then cocoa bolo. Next, you'll want to take your actual pen tube and measure it. So with this, you see we're at 2.85, a little shy of 2 7/8. So now we know at what length we need to cut the blanks. Everybody has their own tool that they like to use for cutting. I like using the bandsaw to cut the blanks. I find it to be a little bit easier, a little bit repeatable as well. So we need the blank to be at least 2 7/8. We're going to trim them down a little bit, so we're probably going to go for about 3 inches. This part doesn't really matter how accurate you are. We're just setting the fence right now to about 3 inches or so. As long as it's at least 2 7/8 of an inch, we'll be fine. So you see we have everything the same length now. They're different size blanks. That's not going to really matter too much. But now we got to go and actually get a hole in the center of this so that we can insert the pen tube. So this is my Shopsmith. We're going to be breaking this down right now, turn it into lathe mode so that we can actually start drilling and turning the blanks. First things first, safety. Make sure that it's unplugged. Next, remove all of your ancillary products. So in this case, brush, your push stick. We'll move the crosscut table out, the rip fence, your guard. Then we're going to remove the main table, your floating table, and then your end tables. First, remove the pipes. Remove the main table. Unlock the height adjustment. Once you hear that noise, that's when you know that you're maxed out. Now you can lift it. Next, you'll remove the saw blade and the guard using the 5/32 T-handle Allen wrench. Next, you can slide the main table area down. Then loosen up the headstock and slide it down. Next, we'll install the tailstock and lock that down. For drilling out the blanks, I like to use the Nova G3 chuck. It's made for the Shopsmith. It's easy to use. You can change out all the different jaws. These are actually the pen jaws for it. And it just slides right onto the headstock, tighten it down, good to go. Next, we'll insert the drill chuck into the tailstock. Tighten this guy down, make sure it's nice and tight in there. And the instructions state to use a 3/8 inch drill bit. Next, put the blank in the jaws of the chuck. Slide it on into place. The setting on the eccentric bearing may need to be adjusted. Right now, because I was doing a wobble the last time, it is out of adjustment. So right now, if I went to drill this, it would not be centered. Now I'm centered. Most of the pen tubes that come from Penn State are already roughed up a little bit, but if you're using a different manufacturer's pen tubes that are perfectly smooth, you'll want to take a little bit of sandpaper and rough them up so that the glue will stick to it a little bit better. The label has gone off of mine. This is just Rockler's brand of CA thick glue. I found that the thick stuff works a little bit better. It cures a little bit faster. It's a little bit messier than the thin, but it gives you a better bond, in my opinion. Oh yeah, and we've got our trusty little pushing tool. It's actually just a punch that I've repurposed for this. So take a little bit, put it on the pen tube. Everybody has a different way they do this. Whatever way works best for you, go for it. Take it, insert it in, kind of back it in and out just a little bit so that you're getting an even distribution of the glue. And then you tap it down and it'll start falling into place. You want to make sure you've got a little bit of wood that you can see on each end. Wipe off the glue and put it aside, let it dry. With this, you can let it dry for about 5-10 minutes and it's ready to go. So as you can see, the barrel is recessed inside the wood. So you have to use a barrel trimmer, and that will shave down the blank and also trim up the barrel as well. So with this, what I'm looking for is, once I start to see the brass shavings come out, that's when I know I'm right where I need to be. There you go. So this is how they look when they're all, after you've gone through and used the barrel trimmer. You'll notice that some of these have a little bit of schmutz on the inside of the barrel. You can take just a X-Acto knife or a utility knife, doesn't matter, and just kind of scrape out the inside so that the bushings will cleanly go inside. There we go. Now they're all cleaned up. On all the instructions, it'll tell you what bushing size you need. There's usually an inner diameter, outer diameter, length, and all that. When you order the bushings, they're of course going to be the correct size, but after you've used them for a while, because of sanding and stuff like that, you'll want to double check, make sure your bushings are the correct size. So these are the two bushings, they're the same for this particular kit. According to the instructions, they're supposed to be 0.420. Double check it. We're at 0.4165, so we're pretty close, but you can tell that, you know, 1/100th of an inch has come off just by sanding and doing this. I've been doing this particular pen kit now for 2 years or so. So if it starts getting too low, just purchase new bushings and toss these ones or use them for something else. Use them as spacers or something. Because when it comes to a shop, you don't throw anything away. Next thing that you're going to do is actually set up the pen mandrel. This is the pen mandrel for the Shopsmith. It's a little bit different from other pen mandrels because it's got this on it. This is what actually hooks up to the headstock of the Shopsmith. And then these are your default bushings that come on. These are just 7mm bushings. So I usually take 3 of these off, put the bushing on. You want the small side in because the small side will go inside the pen blank. You take your pen blank, put it on, Make sure it seats. Get your other bushing, put it on, and then you can use the other bushings as spacers until you get to the threads. Put the nut on. Just crank down on it, hand tight. Make sure that it doesn't spin around on the mandrel. And we are ready to go over to the Shopsmith and start turning it. My love.